What's up, everybody? This is Dale from Upstate Bets. I'm here with my partner Reoz, bringing you guys some NFL action. It is Week 13 over here on Prize Pick, so thank you guys for tuning in into the video. We're doing some player props over here, a place where you can mix and match sports as well. So they cover everything from college football, college basketball, NBA, NFL, esports. They got World Cup stuff over here as well. You can see like CSGO, Call of Duty. They got a ton of things going on over here at Prize Picks. And if you're looking for a deposit match, if you've never played before, sign up using promo code Upstate. It helps us out a ton. But yeah, we're fully engaged into the NFL season. Our player props so far on YouTube have been pretty well. We've been doing pretty good on the island slate, I should say, for like the Monday night and Thursday nights. But when it comes to Sundays, we do 4 picks, so it's kind of hard to get like 4 pick power. But you can pair these players up however you like. There's a ton of ways to play. You can potentially go 25x, 10x. You can do 2 different 2-pick powers with our plays. So however you guys like to play, they have an option for that over here on Prize Picks. So we do a ton of other stuff as well over here, and one of them is going to be the Patreon. So Riaz, tell me about that.
I highly recommend checking out the Patreon. If you want more plays from us with Prize Picks coming out with that 6 for 6 for 25x, you are going to want to check out the Patreon for more plays from us. We give out plays Monday through Sunday. We do not miss a day. If we miss a day over here on YouTube, there is always picks over on the Patreon, so you never have to worry about that. The best thing is there is 2 of us, so there will always be picks over on the Patreon. We dropped it from $20 to $15 a month there, so highly recommend checking out that tier. It is exactly the same thing as the $20 tier, so make sure you sign up for that one. Everything linked in the description below, and you can also find it at patreon.com/upstate.
And let's dive right into the video, man. If your guys are into like betting sports as well, like this is just a massive week for NFL. There's a lot of close spreads on the board, and I think player props might be the way to go. I think a lot of these games have the choice to just go, back and forth, 50-50 shots. So I highly recommend going over to check out Prize Picks and doing some player props. So I'm going to go to my first guy here in a game that I think is going to be a really tight game. And I love this game between the Jets and the Vikings. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson here over 60.5 receiving yards. The connection between him and Mike White didn't seem too bad. I know Mike White, had that really good game last season. Then he came back down to earth last year. I don't know if he's going to keep it up, but I'll tell you, he has a really good matchup against Minnesota. I know the record is really good for Minnesota, but they actually give up the most passing yards in the entire league. So any quarterback seems to be playing really well, and every receiver seems to be smashing against this Minnesota secondary. You saw every game in Chicago. Players are going off. Buffalo, you see players are going off. It just everyone that they play. Minnesota plays, someone is popping off, whether it be their number 1 receiver or number 2 guy. Someone's having a big game, and we saw 8 targets last week for Garrett Wilson and a 54-yard reception, which obviously led him to getting 95 yards. But he's got that big playability, and it seems like Mike White's kind of just playing freely. He's got nothing to lose, in my opinion. He's throwing the ball with accuracy as well, and he's just kind of throwing it up there for these really good wide receivers to make a play on. Elijah Moore is actually a very, very good wide receiver, and Garrett Wilson's had an up and down rookie season, but he's very, very solid, and I think he's going to have a really good career for years to come. So give me Garrett Wilson against the secondary in a game that honestly could be pretty high scoring.
Really love that, and I'm going to stay in the same game here with Justin Jefferson. And I love what you said at the end, that I think this is going to be a really close game as well. This is definitely not the greatest matchup for Justin Jefferson against the Jets, but he just seems to be matchup proof. We saw him play really well against New England last week. We saw him have an amazing game against Buffalo, almost getting 200 yards receiving, and then even against a really good Washington team, he had 115. And the big thing for me here is he gets a ton of targets. He is by far the number 1 guy on this team. We continue to see Adam Thielen get a little banged up. Hawkinson, I thought, was going to be more of a kind of relief guy, safety blanket for Kirk Cousins, and it just still seems to be Justin Jefferson. He's the go-to guy. He's not only a great route runner, but he rips off those big plays. We've continued to see week after week 40, 50-yard chunk plays out of him, and that's really going to cut into the 85.5 line. And taking the over here might seem a little scary, but he's been, just like I said, controlling the game through the air with Justin Jefferson. So it's really hard to fade him. He's almost on pace like Cooper Kupp was last year. You just continue to see high lines from him and he just continues to hit the over. So love Justin Jefferson here.
I was gonna say that. It just seems like last year's situation with Cooper Kupp, his line was sitting at 92 and a half, just game after game, and he just kept getting 100 yards. When the volume's there, the volume's there, and he's got Sauce Gardner on him this time around. It's gonna be a really fun matchup to watch. I'm really excited to see that matchup between JJ and Sauce Gardner. I think Jefferson could still get the best of him as he's maybe the best wide receiver in the league. Some people still believe that he is. So I'm really excited to watch that. So I'm going to go with my next guy here. It's kind of a boring pick. I'm going to go with field goals made. I like Matthew Wright for the Pittsburgh Steelers going against Atlanta. As a Steelers fan, obviously I watch all these Steelers games, and I watch even the film on these games, and the way they've been moving the ball is very solid, but they're still dealing with some running back issues. We're not sure if Najee's going to be all right for this game. We're not sure what the situation is, if Jalen Warren's going to be ready to go. So there's some things when it comes to running the ball that's been slowing them down. And Pickett, he's not that type of guy that you want kind of throwing 40, 45 times a game. And against this Atlanta team, they're still in the hunt when it comes to their division. I mean, they can obviously come out here and still win some games and potentially win that division. That is wide open between them and Tampa Bay. So these two teams, even though Pittsburgh might be out of it, there is still some percentage of chance that they still might have a chance to make the wild card for the AFC. I still find it hard to believe, but they still want to win these games. So these are two teams with a 1-point spread. They're going to be playing really tight against each other, and I do think Pittsburgh, they've been getting down to the red zone, but they just can't finish. If you look at Kenny Pickett's numbers, he hasn't thrown any touchdowns this year. He's thrown a couple, don't get me wrong, but they just can't seem to finish in the red zone, whether it be play calling or the issues with the running game, or if it's just Pickett struggling in general. They've been just leaning on the field goals. They've just been putting up 3 points, and you saw against Indianapolis and they saw against Cincinnati, they've been hitting field goals, and it's been letting these other teams back into the game. Indianapolis had a final drive to try to win it. Cincinnati obviously came back and win it. I still think this game's going to be close as well, and I think at 1.5, I think it's a really good line for a team that's been struggling in the red zone and against a team that's still playing for something. So give me Matthew Wright.
Without a doubt. And like you said, they just become very stagnant when they cross that 50-yard line. So really love that play. He's going to get a ton of looks in that game. And the last guy I want to talk about is over in the fantasy score. Somebody I've been kind of waiting to talk about all year, and that's Deshaun Watson. There's going to be a ton of narratives, him playing his old team. He hasn't played in a year and a half, close to 2 years. But Deshaun Watson is an NFL quarterback. When you look at all 32 teams, he is probably top 20, if not top 15 in the NFL. Even without playing, he is an amazing talent. We even saw with that Houston team who didn't have a ton of weapons around him, he still go out there and throw for 350 yards passing, not even counting what he can do on the ground and add chunk yards there. And this is somebody who struggled in the preseason. Me and Dale were talking about that, but my point of view of it is he knew he wasn't going to play for 12, 13 weeks, so it's kind of tough to bring it and give it your all when, one, the starting position's locked up. They gave him all that money, and the fact that he's going to sit forever, there's no reason, 13, 14 weeks out, he's going to go balls to the wall, as people say. But Deshaun Watson, this line it's really going to depend on just what he's feeling. I mean, there's two scenarios here. He goes out and goes crazy and smashes and gets 28, 30 fantasy score, or he plays how he did in the preseason. I don't see that. There's too much on the line here playing against his old team. The team around him is good. They're still fighting for a playoff spot. Their team is definitely not out of it, playing in that division with everybody struggling. And he's got weapons. He's got Nick Chubb. He's got Kareem Hunt. He's got Donovan People-Jones. He's got Amari Cooper. This is probably the best team he has played for by far. And I wanted to look at other lines, his rushing yards, his passing touchdowns, but I think at 19.5, it's a low enough line where if he goes out there and throws for 300, gets a couple touchdowns, rushing and passing, and does some work on the ground, he is going to have no problem smashing this 19.5. So love the over here.
Oh, Reoz, we had a good conversation about this. before we started the video, and yeah, it's gonna be an exciting one, man. I mean, I think me and you both have been waiting to see what Watson's seen. I think he a little disrespectful. I think people had him in the top five when he was playing. It's been 2 years since he played. You said top 15. He was top five quarterback in the NFL when he was playing and playing at an elite level. He had some decent Houston teams, but this Cleveland team, like I said, they got really really good weapons. And the thing is here, it's not like he still can't go throw for a couple of touchdowns. Even if they do get in the red zone, they can mix some things up, and he can definitely throw 2, 3 touchdowns. I'm excited to see what he does with his legs, though. I mean, I think that's the X factor here, especially going to fantasy score. If he can give you 30, maybe 40 yards on the ground, that's going to be huge for someone in fantasy score. So, and against Houston, terrible defense, worst team in the NFL. They should have no issue stomping all over Houston in this matchup. And there's obviously a little bit extra narrative going against Houston as well. So Watson, we'll see what he does on Sunday. Going to be a wicked good game to watch. And that's going to be it for us. You can punch these players in, like I said in the beginning of the video, however you would like. 10x for these 4 players. If you punch them in, that would give you 10x. If you're looking for more players, 2 more guys for 6 players would bring you to 25x. And the comment section is wide open. If you want to drop a comment down below, definitely wide open if you want to talk about some player props. And go check out the Patreon as well, man. It's been really good time. People have been winning some money over there. So thank you for tuning in the video. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.